Hello, everybody. Uh, don't ask me what's going on. I don't see anything. Where is my pictures? This is for the birds. I'm going to have to come right back. Sorry, people. All right, people. Don't know what's going on with the show today, but hopefully we can get through it without major problems. Let me just shrink this screen a little. All right. So here's the thing, people. It's a new year. Happy New Year. I don't know what's going to be happy about it. Hopefully something. But we seem to be screwing it up more and more every year than making it better. We got a lot of things to talk about today, especially what's going on with the new year. Let's bring this up a little bit higher, just so you figure where I'm at. If you can read that. All right. But the interim is it's for the rich and the poor. We got two different sets of people living on this planet, and each are on their own missions, thinking and creating their world that they think they're living in. Sadly, neither one of them is creating a good world or the right world. I'm not going to go into the complete history of the planet, but as you should know, there were many races that lived here and left, taken out, removed, however you want to look at it. But attention has been focused so much on the pyramids, all right, which is a useless thing. Crop circles, oh, they're telling us things and warning us. No, they're not, because we can't do anything about what's happening. We can't, not the general public, meaning the poor people, the middle class people. The rich people can do a lot with with their money and what they want to do, what they believe, what they want to experience, and how they can create that. We can't. All right, but they're pushing the poor people into a state, making them pay for everything. All right, and on top of that, they're going to slowly remove us. Now, I can say what Musk said. He contradicted himself. He's on X, which used to be Twitter, but you're allowed to say whatever you want on there. I write him at least 5-10 letters a day. Mr. Trump, Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, you name them all. But here's the thing. Mr. Musk said AI is going to save us. It's going to cut out all the little jobs and things like that. Cut out the little jobs. What does that mean? The jobs that middle class poor people get? All right, eliminate that. What does the poor people have to do with this planet? What can they do? Probably nothing. Then he came out and said, people better be aware of AI. This is like a week later. Well, he's the one that's influencing and trying to create the idea that we need AI. At the same time, he contradicts himself. While his main purpose, what he feels is important, is going to Mars. I don't want to keep this about Musk the whole time, but I could talk about him all day. He's got some good things going on, but he talks about things and he puts things up, but he's not helping those things. His futuristic car is not going to save the planet in any way. Only the rich people will be able to buy it. It's going to be about $90,000, or it's being sold at that. It already had a car accident, which was shown online already. But guess what? That's not going to help you and me. Him sending all these rockets up, planning on going to Mars, is not helping us. It's not helping the planet, and it sure isn't helping poor people. Now, we've got battle going on the internet. No matter where you go, it's Trump versus Biden. Two people that are old shouldn't be in power, shouldn't be our president. We need a younger person that's aware of what's really going on, that cares about people, all people, not color of people, not age of people, but all people, sick people as well. And they get the least care, and they're being destroyed greatly. I'm not going to go into that until later. But people, where are your attention being directed to? Making money. Everybody needs to make money, and the way it's going, you're going to have to make a lot more than you're making right now if you want to survive. I'm going to mention this a couple times because you need to understand what it really means. UN Agenda 30. It means by 2030, the world will be one world order, with half of the population or even less than that on the planet. So guess who they're going to eliminate first? That doesn't take a brain or rocket scientist to figure that out, does it? All right. What's going on? They're at fourth or fifth stage already. So the next 2 years, you're going to see the greatest change. But they're working with the environment as well. Trump says there's no global warming. I mean, and he believes in oil and all the things that could destroy the planet and will. But then again, people going on about the electric cars and electric solar energy is going to save the planet. It is not. They're still going to make batteries. Solar power systems run on batteries. Batteries are the most toxic things to be made. I mean, even electric bikes, everything has to have a battery. Until they use what they use in spaceships and everything else and satellites, it's called radiation. It doesn't end. It lasts for 100 years. And I know that 25 years ago, I was working in California, living next to a person that worked for the government. And he had lights and different things. And I said, "Don't you ever turn them off?" He goes, "No, I don't have to." I said, "Aren't you what?" He goes, "No, they're run by radiation. They will stay on forever." So when they put this stuff inside a satellite, guess what? It's going to run for a long, long time. You ever wonder how they keep going? How they don't run out of power? All right. And people don't know much about radiation. And you should. I'll go into a short story about UFOs and stuff a little bit later about that. But people, when we talk about rich people, what are they doing? Look at what Musk's doing. Look at what Gates doing. And the owner of Facebook, what he's doing. But guess what, people? They're going to try to change everything that you think you are comfortable with. What you eat. I mean, Gates buying up all the farmland. They want to stop cattle growing. All right, and that means what? What are you going to eat? Well, they got companies working and creating food, meat from crickets, if you call that meat, and you will be eating it. Promise you. Not that you want to or I want to. And then something, I'm not even, it's just more gross than that, even what they plan on giving you to drink. Go online, find out. The facts are there if you're willing to look for it, people. Are you? But that doesn't matter because right now you're in a space trying to get money to survive. I'm in Hawaii. The food goes up $1, $2 every month. Cakes that were like $2.99 or $6.99, $8.99. Milk is what, $9. Bread is anywhere up to $12. People, somebody's making a lot more money, and there's a woman in Hawaii that owns 300 stores, and the one Malama Market here was on strike for 48 days because they wouldn't give these people the same money that they pay in the same other store in a different town. So we got this woman who controls much of everything going on, who only cares about money. I don't want to get into that. We got problems everywhere, and it's always based on money. Wars are based on money. Every war was always based on money, gold, silver. All right, now the fallacy, the lies that you've been fed with people like Zachariah Sitchin and everything, aliens came here and they made us mine gold for them. We can make gold right now. We can make it. It just the process costs a little more than it's valued at when it's made. Aliens gave us the technology a long time ago. People, you might not believe in what's going on in the UFO world, which you probably don't and probably never will in your lifetime or this lifetime. But it's going to be exposed greatly, and it is, no matter what the government does and no matter what the UFO people say and do. Sadly, they got implants in the UFO world, creating false stories, lies, twisted truth, and it's destroying the whole UFO movement. Now, I will say this, and I know at the Congress is having meetings about UFOs and everything else, but they said we don't take people out. Oh, no, they don't? I know 16 people directly that have been. About five to six of them were the top speakers in the UFO world. All right. My best friend was, his whole family was. People, MK12, which isn't talked about by the UFO people, whether they're afraid or they just don't know anything. I was friends with a person from MJ12 years ago. So we had lots communication going on. He was killed. All right. Best friends were killed. So one of the most important UFO stories, people in the UFO world don't talk about it, except the person, I can't even say his name. I think he's a Japanese man claiming all this credibility, but he puts everything down, says everything's fake, everything's this, that, and the other thing. But he has no experience with any of it. I talk about everything because I experience just about everything you can in this reality. Good, bad, and indifferent. Death, reincarnation, all those words. Aliens, Bigfoot, you name it. They're all real, people. Deities are real. Satan, Lucifer are real. But what are they? Where are they? What are they doing, people? You've been programmed and brainwashed to believe this, that, and the other thing. The rich people don't care about religion, first off. Second off, they care about their ego and how much money they can make. Now, if you follow people, the richest, most so-called spiritual people on the planet, I'm going to name a couple. Deepak Chopra, one of the richest medicine people in his field of medicine, make-believe medicine, I'll call it. Deepak Chopra is, I guess, Hindu, Indian, and his teachings are basically Buddhism. All right, Eckhart Tolle, another person who claims a lot of things and live in the moment and making his millions. Both of them made their fame by Oprah, and Oprah created these 21-day workshops for both of them and created a great place for them to advertise themselves, which they did and became super rich. All right, you got the Pope, you got the Dalai Lama. Neither one of them are helping mankind. Nobody's helping mankind. Nobody's helping the poor or middle class people at all, at any level. The medical field is horrible. I know Somebody close to me had hepatitis 3. It costs $70,000 for the pills. It's $1,000 pill, and you got to take 70 pills. Really? All right, they give you a cure for one sickness, disease, virus, and all the words you want to use, but they create 2 or 3 more every time they get rid of supposedly one of them. Fact, remove one, you get 3. Remove 3, you get 6, 8, or 12, or higher numbers. But people don't think about things like that. Oh no, we cured this. We didn't cure much of anything. And all the time we've been on this planet, in most of the frames of stories that you know or even heard about, the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Egyptians, Hinduism was the first religion on the planet, and they were working with deities for a pretty long time. But the biggest thing they survived on and dwelled on was sex. Sorry, people, really, that's a fact. Then you have the splintering, which they left India to go to Tibet, and they have Buddhism, which was not much different. They followed deities. And then we ended up with the Dalai Lama. He left his country because he would have been killed if he stayed there. So, but even that's a super sad story because they were taken over by China. They were setting themselves on fire, begging for help, begging the world for help. Nobody helped them. Could you give me 1 second? Sorry about that. All right. So he's Canada. He's a citizen of Canada in a couple places. But his people were setting themselves on fire for years, begging for the United States or any country to help them. But China moved in, destroyed 200 temples. They arrested anybody that had the Dalai Lama's picture up, did prayers about him or said things about him. They did many other bad things to these people, killing them, removing them, putting them in prison. Now, Hillary Clinton went to China and begged them to release the prisons that they had. They had 1,500 prisoners already from Tibet. So you talk about what we do, who gets involved with what, and for what reason. Well, Hillary wasn't going to make money on that. But people, our government, our presidents, what do you think they're here for? What do you think they do? Who do you think they work for? It's sure not the middle class and poor people. Nobody does. And nobody cares. I'm going to take it back because this is very important. I'll get into UFOs, aliens, and everything else, but let's get back to where you are right now. Everything you hear, gun control, gun rights, and all that, came from the idea of a constitution. Well, if anybody ever studied the Constitution in detail and spoke to people involved with it or understood it a little more, they might know much more than they do about it. The Constitution was created a long time ago. And guess the people involved were rich, first off. When they created the Constitution, where do you think it came from? And why do you think they created it? Well, they had the idea, let's not let the poor people control anything, which is why it was created. All right. But they stole many of the ideas that the Constitution had from the native people. All right. They added the ones they needed, like guns. Why do you think guns became part of the Constitution? In that time frame, not a present time frame, they were allowed to carry guns to shoot native people. They got paid for native people's scalps, people, and it wasn't the native people scalping the white people. They got paid for children's scalps, women's scalps, and men's scalps. Different salary for each, different pay. But they got paid for all three. So you had to have a gun. And you were allowed to take out as many native people as you wanted. And this is under the Constitution, people. Thomas Jefferson, the third president, rode the whole coastline, southern coastline of the United States, killing every tribe he could. George Washington, every time he gave the order to let one tribe live, he gave the order to kill two other tribes. So there was eventually 500 tribes here. Most of them cut down to zero or very few. The Five Nations, which is basically how the Constitution was created. If you ever see the eagle with the arrows in its talons, well, there's 5 arrows in its talons. That was representing the 5 nations, and a native elder that spoke about it says, as a nation, he took one arrow and broke it over his leg, and he took 5 arrows and put them together and tried breaking over his leg, and you couldn't. So he says, a nation, we have to unite. And that's how the Constitution, the symbol for the Constitution was part of, and things much further than that. But it was taken from the Native people, while at the same time, Native people were outlawed from the Constitution. They were considered government property. This is inside the United States, people. Sure, the black people were involved with that back and forth. Native people moved with the black people moved with the Native people just to survive. And that's why there's so many half black and Native people out there. But again, people, who brought the black people in? The Native people are here. They didn't have a chance or a way to go anywhere else. The black people eventually had the chance to leave. But the black people weren't the first slaves in the United States. Do you know that? I'm not even going to tell you. Look it up. See who were the first slaves brought into the United States. It'll blow you away, because it wasn't black people. People, we go on and protect this person and that person, and it's black rights and what, Spanish rights? Why is our language in the United States second language Spanish? All right. I mean, what if they change it to Chinese or some other language in the near future? Well, the near future is not going to happen as we perceive it to. But okay, Constitution was created. As it moved along, what? Women weren't allowed to vote. What mental case decided that? Men with a twisted mind. Now, short idea. Women were never free, and still aren't. They were slaves for 100,000 years, people. 100,000 years, women were always slaves, and there was no such word as love. All right. Do you understand that? Or do you believe that? Look it up. Look how love was actually created and what it meant and where it came from. It's only 2,020 years old. But then again, Jesus didn't come here to teach love. He showed it. Big difference. He didn't stand with people, to love somebody, you got to love them. How do you love somebody? How do you tell somebody to love somebody? It's an inner feeling that comes out. You can't teach somebody that. You can program somebody, well, money's love, and if a person has a lot of money, I'll love them. All right? But real love comes from within, doesn't come from without. You can't be taught it. So the idea Jesus came here to teach love is a big fallacy. But what did Jesus come here to teach? We'll get into that too, people. What are aliens here for? People, do you have a clue? Why do you think we have wars? And we always had wars. Why were we always fighting? Money, gold, and silver. But outside of that, power, ego is what controls that. But what's the root of all money? Sex. Sorry to say it. All right. Even when Gates went to Vegas, I was there. Do you know the lines were, the streets were lined from corner to corner with prostitutes? Sex flyers all over every street, everywhere. And every hotel raised their price to $400 a night. Every hotel did. So you don't realize something's wrong there? But that's only one person, Gates. Rich people have a way of creating what they want. They got the money to do it. They could bribe as many people as they want. But, money doesn't help anybody, and it never will. the few that it helps, it doesn't help the majority that needs it more. People say they give what, $25 a month or to an organization. How much of that money really helps the people? But then again, we got all these sites. Save this dog, save this cat, save this monkey, save this elephant, save this crocodile, save this whales and dolphins, which should be and aren't. But all the money they take in doesn't help them at all. When I was young, I was fighting to save wolves in Jersey. You know what the government said to me? Well, there's every wolf you see, there's 100 more running around. It's like they said when you see a roach on a wall, there's 1,000 inside the wall. Another lie. I said, what if it's the same wolf running around the neighborhood? But they don't want to take that theory into hand. And you know what they ended up telling me? Well, there's not that many wolves killed. Why? Because not that many people report killing a wolf. Our system's screwed up, like dolphin boats, tuna boats, and all that. The tuna boats are only allowed to kill 10,000 dolphins a year. Who counts them? Who has the ability to count the amount of dolphins they kill? Oh, it's dolphin free. Really? Longlining was the only way you can get tuna without killing dolphins. You put a net out, dolphins get caught in it and get chopped up by the tuna. Little things that matter to the world, to the vibration of the world. They've been slaughtering the whales, Japan and Philippines. Their tuna boat, their canning boat, cans whales on the boat. They got a big sign on it, scientific research, on a canning boat. People, and they get away with it. We had a group of people trying to fight it. Sea Shepherd, if you ever watched that show. They tried everything to help free these whales, save these whales and stuff. But it really didn't help. Somebody was a millionaire, got in a boat, went in front of the boat. You know what they did? They plowed into his little teeny boat. And he went to jail, stopping scientific research, a canning boat. People, you listen to these stories, you might understand the truth if you look behind the things that are being said. Slaughtering whales and dolphins is not going to help mankind. The United States government killed 10,000 dolphins a year trying to train them to kill people. Well, that's ridiculous. No, they use them right now to destroy submarines and stuff. They strap a bomb on them and say, go to that. Dolphins are the smartest creature on this planet next to a human, people. Somebody was saying monkeys aren't 1/10 as smart. Dolphins can actually say understand 150 words. A monkey can only understand 50. Big difference. Plus, a dolphin uses different parts of the brain that we can't. Their brains 1/4 an inch smaller than ours, exactly the same. They use different parts of it. Why? Where did they come from? When you talk about genes unfolding, we came from all the theories about how humans were created are all lies, people. The Anunnaki did not create humans. And besides, Atlantis was the first race of people living on this planet. There were 9 races here living at that time frame. All right. And it was the only time planet Earth was in peace. And guess who had to screw that up? A couple alien races did. But do you want the truth? Or you want to live in La La Land? Oh, well, we came out of the ground. Really? Why aren't more different people coming out of the ground? All right. Why were there so many giants here? Why are they all gone? Why is this? Why is that? They don't have answers for any of it. They don't want you to believe in giants. They don't want you to believe in the truth. They don't want you to believe in aliens. They don't want you to believe in UFOs. They don't want you to believe in anything that's important that's destroying the planet or could have helped or did help destroy the planet. Every race that was here was taken out. The Egyptians, the Mayans, the Aztecs. Look at what happened to the native people. And that was by white and Spanish and English. Do you realize what we talk about? What race, what tribe, what people are spiritual? Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, Dalai Lama, the Pope, really? We've fallen so far down, and we're not going to get up in time to save the world. If you think we are, no, it's not going to happen. The sun is going through something that it shouldn't have been going through for at least 10 years, and it's going through right now. The other thing is, what people are seeing around the world never happened before. Never happened before. They're seeing these giant auras like you would see up over Alaska or whatever. The aurora borealis. Do you know what that means? A beautiful rainbow going across the sky. What do you think that is? It's called radiation, people, whether you realize it or not. These countries that are seeing it are being exposed to great amounts of radiation coming from the sun. But are you ready for that on top of everything else? Of course not. Oh, if Trump gets in, what do you think is going to happen to weather control? Nothing good. And what do you think about trying to stop oil? Nothing good. Poor people, nothing good. People coming into the country, nothing good. Now, nobody stopped the people from coming into the United States, killing the native people. Why is that? We talk about good people. Who is good? Who has been good in our history? Not talking about making inventions. That doesn't make you good. Inventions don't save us, which I'll get into in a second. But what makes us good people? Do you have a clue? What makes you a good person? Well, I pray on Sundays. I feed homeless people once in a while. I do this, I do that. All your ego programming in your brain telling you you're a good person. You do absolutely nothing for God. Oh, I help people. Help people? You don't think God could help people if it wanted to? If it wanted to. Oh, it protects us. Who does it protect? Name people that God protects. Not Jesus. Not Moses. Who do you think God protects? Joe Schmo walking down the street? From what? What is he protected from? People go to church every Sunday. Pray. Pray to who? For what reason? God protect us from what? Bombs hitting? Countries praying and you think it's helping them at all? What kind of a God do you have? A false God. People believe in a programmed idea of a God that man created to protect himself. Not a God that created all these multiple realms, creatures, beings, and entities. No, just a God that created man and to protect man. Really? The maximum you're going to live is 125 years. And you're lucky if you make it to 100. But as you make it to 100, half of your body is gone anyway. So, people, what do you expect out of life? What do you think you're here for? Why do you think aliens are coming here? Ask yourself a few questions that are pretty important. Well, aliens aren't really coming here. Well, believe what you want. I don't have to believe anything. I experienced everything I needed to, and had to. God is real. Aliens are real. Angels are real. Deities are real. Ghosts are real. Bigfoot's real. So what do you want to say? Well, no, just because you didn't experience it, it's not real. Well, it's not real because you didn't experience it. I do a show every Tuesday with Tina Bird. She's becoming one of the top speakers in the UFO world on abductee. She's been abducted half of her life on and off, and all kinds of things are going on. She has more proof about it than anybody else. But people, this is something nobody's getting back to her or me or even cares. She's radioactive. Now, the problem with that is something that's impossible. It goes up and down. Radiation doesn't deteriorate in a long period of time, hundreds of years. So for it to go up and down in a week is crazy, impossible. But it does. I made it by a Geiger counter when we first started our show. All right. Because I wanted to show people that she's radioactive. She didn't even believe it until she got it. And then we take the Geiger counter out halfway through the show, every show we do. Used to do an hour show. She wanted to do a half-hour show because certain reasons. But doesn't matter. I can go longer. I could go as long as I want, depending on how I feel. Because I'm a rebel. If you don't know that by now or don't know who I am, follow some of my sites, pull some of them up. I go after everybody. Everybody feeding the world lies. And I haven't found one person feeding the world truth about anything important. I'm sure the government's bad, the people are bad, this and that. But proving something that's like aliens aren't here, they've been here. They have been. And they're not helping us. But we got Stephen Greer, one of the biggest false storytellers in the UFO world, saying all aliens are good and they're here to help us. One of the biggest lies you could ever hear in the UFO world. Then a new program came out years ago, and it was a word created. I don't know by what person particularly created it, but it's called experiencer, not abductee, experiencer, meaning they were in their room and an alien came and said, "Hey, let's go on a trip. I'm going to take you to the cities and show you this and that." It's another program, not real. So all these people coming out saying, "I'm an experiencer and I had a great trip," and aliens don't take people on great trips. You can't go on a trip with an alien. You can believe you did, programmed you were. Now, when Fire in the Sky came out, that's all he knew. And he still knows very little about what really happened on the ship when he was taken into it. Now, Peter has a lot of information, but we still want to get hypnotic thing done so that she can find out some more facts that she doesn't remember. All right? And I'm telling you, she has incredible stories that really happened. I'm not saying she's the only one, but she's one of the few people coming out and talking about it in detail. Her book is out, and I will show it to you right now. Author, Bird. Okay, I put it out now. Okay. The Bonded. Okay. Get it. If you have the one site for ebooks and all that, it's free, but it's an incredible book. It's a big book, wide. It's not long. It's about 98 pages. So you could read it in a short time, but you'll understand what she actually went through. And very few people have gone through what she has gone through and is going through right now. But that's just one little thing. When you got people like Trump says there's no such thing as aliens, guess what? I'm going to tell you this, and this is a fact, people. Whether you listen or not, you should, but that's up to you. In the world that we're in, we have great speakers, and speakers get credit for whatever they say. But Putin himself is one of the richest people on the planet. Did you know that? Probably not. All right. Responsible for killing massive amounts of people as well. But he went on Russian TV 4 months before Trump was elected. I don't know if it was 3 or 4 months. And said on Russian TV, Mr. Trump, I want you to tell the world what really happened at 9/11. Why would he say that? Why would Putin ask Trump to say that? Trump wasn't president yet, but why would he ask him to tell the truth about 9/11? Second to that, he said, I want you to tell the world what you're doing with aliens. Why would he ask Trump that? Well, the next sentence was, we are working with many alien races. 2 of them want to destroy the planet. For real, people. He said it to Trump personally. He said it on Russian TV as well. He said it's Trump after Trump was president, too. But he said, I want you to tell the world what's really going on. So, when Putin and Trump met, he met for a couple hours, closed-door meeting. The next day, Trump came out and said he created the space army. Why would he do that? Maybe he was afraid of what Putin said, that there is alien races trying to start a war with us and things like that. Well, how would Putin know that alien races want to destroy the planet? Well, another thing the UFO people don't talk about, the truth. Well, 16 of my best friends or close friends have been taken out. I can't tell what's going on with my camera. I hope it's all right. But new layout, I don't like it. All right. So here's the thing, people. To know that we're at war with aliens or they're at war with us, they would have to be doing something, wouldn't they, people? So, United States, Russia, and Germany are involved with wars with aliens in space and on the ground. Nobody in UFO world talks about it. I can go into one story, but not now. It's too long of a story about the most important UFO event that happened in the United States and the world. And nobody in the UFO world can talk about it. Why is that? But I'll tell you this. Tesla was involved with part of it at one time. And I will talk about Tesla in a little bit because he's not a rocket scientist. He never was. He didn't go to super duper college to learn what he did. And neither did Einstein. Just so you know, Einstein worked with an alien race as well. Einstein was given false information. All right. Einstein said we can't go backwards and forwards in time, which we can and we are. So he was wrong about that. Tesla's the one that created the device to do it. People, are you ready to hear the truth that you don't hear? Listen to all these speakers in the UFO world. Go to a convention. Well, we're going to prove that there's UFOs in the sky. Go out any day, any night that it's clear. Stay out there all night. I'm sure you'll see a UFO. Everything's not a satellite, people. And when you see anything in the sky, stop. Go backwards. Go sideways. It's not a satellite. Just so you know. UFOs go straight across the sky as well. I'll get into that if I have time at the end. But people, what's going on right now with UN Agenda 21-30 is what you should be more concerned about than anything else. This is going to be food shortage. Then again, what they actually said, what's going on with the sun, could actually take out the satellites. If that happens, you know what happens? The world goes in complete chaos. Do you understand what's really going on in the earthquake world? Probably not. I've been involved with that for maybe 30 years. I followed it from 1900 to the present. The earthquake chart has escalated the past 2 years higher than it has ever been in 100 years. And that means up to 10 earthquakes over 5.0 in one day. But I see a really bad one coming. We lucked out so far. I mean, Tibet was hit by one and it destroyed a lot. Now, not Iceland, but maybe one was just had a giant volcano eruption and the earth split and things like that. But do you hear much about it? What's really going on? You don't hear anything about Australia. You pull up the U.S. charts, they don't show Australia. Well, Australia is the biggest army base on the planet. The northern part of Australia is where it is at. It's a base joint between not Australia, Britain, and the United States. But they have more earthquakes around there than any other part of the world. Why is that? You know, I don't want to get into every fact out there in one thing because, you know, you're probably going to barely hold on to what I'm giving you right now. But please send this to everybody you know, any rich person, every poor person, every UFO person, because they're all living in la la land. They don't want the truth. They're not getting it. And then the people feeding them false truth is even worse. All these people that said they saw this, they did that. And so what? Now what? And then, oh, well, the government's hiding it. The government can never come out and say what they did. They can't. If you give up people of your own tribe, own nation to the enemy, would you want to admit that ever? No, of course not. If you made a deal with a race, well, don't hurt us, give us some information, and we'll give you what you want. That number I said, 10,000, is what Mr. Truman agreed on. All right. But 10,000, again, who can count it? And he made a deal, and this is fact, people, whether you want to believe it or not, that when a person was abducted, they weren't allowed to remember what really happened. That lasted for a pretty long time. But the humans have ability to keep growing in a different way, and they realize things happen to themselves, and there were ways to find out. So now people started realizing they were abducted, and that wasn't a good thing because they weren't supposed to know they were. And then they started coming out slowly, a little more here, there, and everywhere. All right, when that happened, they're going to find out. So UN Agenda created many things to cover up everything that's happening. But again, we had MJ12, who's responsible for the whole UFO world. And if you watch Men in Black and movies like that, well, the president doesn't have the right to know. He doesn't. Because Truman gave the rights to MJ12. They have the right to do whatever they want, anytime they want, wherever they want. Eliminating people, taking people out. Now, I'm going to say this. I had two people I know, one super famous, who claimed he killed 47 people for the government. Another person who I did a show with for 12 years, her husband killed 132 people for the government. Did you hear what I said? And then we got people like Stephen Greer who said, well, they offered him $3 billion to walk away from the UFO thing. These people must do hardcore drugs because they could take him out for nothing. Why would they give him $3 billion to walk away? The people I know are incredible people that were taken out. And the most incredible story, which people are trying to screw up, is Phil Snyder's story. Well, let me see if I can pull one thing up real fast. Hold on. I'll try to get his name. Okay, here it is. Let me see if I can get it. Oh man, I have to pull up all this junk to get his name. All right, I got it. Okay, here it comes. Let me put it back up. Okay, if you can go into the chat room, I'll put his name there. I can't even say it. It's something like Norio Haakawa. All right, he's a Japanese man, giving himself credibility, put out a video or a movie, short movie. But he's evil in a lot of ways. He destroys the truth in every level he can. Go into his site. Listen to what he says. He puts everything down. Oh, I saw this. He didn't experience an alien. Never experienced a UFO. So how could he talk about it? Unless you were next to an alien or a UFO, you have very little to say about it. And all these people have a lot to say. And, this person said this to me, or this person came and told me this. It doesn't matter what they said. If you didn't experience it, it doesn't matter. Truthfully, it's like saying you can talk about God all you want. If you never experience it and know it, you got no right talking about it like you did or you do. People, we go on and on with our lies and our twisted truth. And the world's getting destroyed greatly every day. Global warming is real. And I'm sure you know that by now. But Al Gore was the one that created the word and brought it out to the world. Said the effects of it. Never said how and what creates the problems. The person that was paying him millions of dollars disappeared out of the country, but he went on for a while. But think about it. what creates global warming, not the stories they tell you. I could do a whole show on that, and nobody would like it. But the truth is, all these sites, let's give money to this and we're going to stop global warming. No, they're not. Not one person in government on these sites are talking about one real problem that causes global warming that they can change or stop. Fires, even fires are being created, and that's called the directed energy beam. Check that out. We've got one in Hawaii and one on the mainland. What does it do? What can they do with it? Now, the HARP system has been here much longer, and that's the most deadliest weapon on the planet. What can they do with that? Find out. Probably never even heard of it. What's the HARP system? HAA, two A's, RP system. All right. Nick Baggage goes on about this, that, and the other thing. He only puts the truth that he knows up. I tried talking to him a couple of times. I was friends with him for a while. And he says, well, prove this, prove that. I said, you can't prove what you're saying. And you only put the truth out. But it's real. Jesse Ventura had Fred Bell on his show. They talked about the HARP system. He went into the White House. Jesse Ventura did. And they asked one of the people in there and said, why did you create it? And the person he was dealing with said, well, we don't know, or we didn't know what we were going to do with it. Didn't know what they were going to do with it. Fred Bell did. He was killed the day after he did the show on Jesse Ventura. The next week, Jesse Ventura's show was taken off the air. All right. Now, I did a show with Sargel 18 when I was lecturing around the United States. It was Strange Universe. Basically, we showed a video of a ship stopping and shooting out 3 ships. They cut everything I said off. But when the show went out, it went everywhere, but nobody cared. There was a live video of a ship stopping and letting these little ships shoot out of it. And nothing ever happened. We lectured around the world, not around the world, but the United States mainly. But basically, people didn't care about pictures and videos of UFOs and aliens and all that. It wasn't a big thing, or it wasn't real to people. So they really didn't care. As it started to become real, all right, more people started getting involved. But then you get more storytellers and more people trying to make money. How many books are out there on UFOs? People that say this happens and that happens and blah, blah, blah. You know, then what's happening now is even worse. I don't know if you've been following. Congress is having these meetings every month. They appointed these people in the UFO world and stuff about it. Congress is coming out. They changed the name of UFOs. Guess why? Because it meant something that they didn't want to talk about. So they use UAPs. And it's called unidentified phenomena, meaning it doesn't have to be a UFO, it doesn't have to be an alien, it's just something bizarre that they can't explain. But in the interim, Congress came out with a statement saying they think they're, and this is no lie, demons. You know, religious people, I'm sure there's a lot of religious people in Congress, and they say, well, everything's from Satan. Now, a sad part of that, people do not know the difference between Satan and Lucifer. My good friend, ex-friend that I did my UFO world with, talks about Lucifer in a way that Lucifer is going to fight Jesus and be killed. Not going to happen. It didn't happen when Jesus was fighting with Satan. Lucifer's a fallen angel, just like Peter, all the other ones. I was going to say Peter. Michael, Gabriel, and all the rest of them. All right. But Lucifer was the highest angel. And he's given a role right now on the astral plane. Not planet Earth, the astral plane. There's 3 gods there. And what is a god? A god is something that keeps people from going into the next realm. Not the god, but a god for that realm. I call them little gods. Or deities, either word you want to use. Satnam's one of them. Jehovah's another. And Lucifer's another. And they all got an important mission to do. Satan has his own mission here. He has his own army here. His mission and his desire, which God allows it, is to keep people in hell. Oh, sorry, people. Yeah, this is hell. But keep people here. Then you got people writing books like Dante Inferno. Well, there's 9 levels of hell. Those 9 levels are all here. Everything he says you experience here. So guess what? You're in hell. Because when you leave your body, when you die or have an out-of-body experience, when you're out of the body, you can't be killed, can't be burnt, can't be frozen, can't be chopped up, can't be anything. So how would you experience pain and suffering? All right. So the idea that you go to hell? No, you're in hell because you could experience every aspect that he mentions here and see it. When you're out of your body, you don't. It only gets better the closer you get into the other realms that Jesus spoke about. Now realize Jesus was the only person speaking about a one God, not this man protection God that watches us, protects us, and all that baloney, but the true God. He was teaching people how to get closer to that. All right? Not begging for protection and praying for protection and all these getting a healing. Heal the body, why? The longer you stay in hell, the more chances you're going to want to stay here longer because of Mr. Satan. Satan's idea is not to kill you. Satan's idea is to keep you here and happy. Well, happy to a degree. Look at people. They love sex, they love sports, they love drugs, they love drinking, smoking, partying. Anything important? The word spiritual doesn't fit into any of that. So, Satan feeds them what they want. Money. Well, people are becoming millionaires every year. So guess what? Satan's winning. Whether you want to deal with that or not, that's your choice. But it is. You have a choice, people. Look at the facts, find the facts, and deal with it. Or just live in a lie. You get lies everywhere you go and listen to people talk. Every speaker I mentioned so far is a liar. False teacher, whatever word you want. Delusional healer. Healings from somebody else is only a temporary thing. Besides, you're only healing the physical body. Temporarily. And what's that mean? You give a person permission to heal you. If a healer could heal people, why don't he just heal the whole planet? Because he can't. All right? Then we got people in the UFO world. Caroline Corey. She did 3 movies. All right? She claims she can levitate a piece of paper. If you can levitate a piece of paper, you can levitate a car or anything else. Nikola Tesla proved that. But again, she claims she can change people's DNA. Does she have the right to? How could she prove it if she didn't effectively change somebody's DNA or try to? Why would you want to? Again, people, we're following the wrong spirits, angels, demons, and whatever. Everybody wants to use Gabriel and Michael. They're not the only angels. There's only 9 angels mentioned in the basic part of the Bible. Revelation talks about hundreds of angels. I mean, then we got people like, I never remember his name, where he's channeling an alien or an entity. Then you had Ralph, one of the first people to channel an entity. If you channel in something, like even in some religions, they talk in tongue and all that. So what? Who are you channeling? God? Jesus? Moses? Who do you think you're channeling? I worked with the top medium in the United States when I was 14 till I was about 22. I started a covenant, became a high priest. Sorry, people, I did. I walked away from 14 religions that I studied that have no aspect of a real God and started looking for a real God. I found it. But I also found out all those so-called psychic abilities cannot be used in this world wisely. Nobody's at a high enough spiritual place to even think about using them wisely. Well, I said, if I stop it from raining here for 10 years, guess what happens? It affects so many things that I have no right to affect. One thing, when you do something to one person, the word karma fits in. If you kill one person, that's karma. A large amount of karma. Whether you did it here or in another country, if you kill somebody, it's karma. Now there's two words, intentionally and unintentionally. Self-defense or premeditated. Well, when you go to another country to kill people, you're a killer. Super karma. And mankind doesn't want to face that. But you know, when the Spanish and when the British came into the United States, they used the word demons. And that's why they call them redskin, because they related it to the devil. And it was okay to kill the devil and demons. No, it's not. You have no right to kill anything. But people that don't understand the Ten Commandments follow Moses. How's that? If you don't follow the Ten Commandments, why would you want to follow Moses? He created 63 laws on top of them. And they're all ridiculous. And the Jewish people have to live by them? They can't. And I mean, I worked in a lot of Jewish houses and families and things like that, watched them all go against what they believe and say. I mean, in Jersey, we had so many bookstores, and you could always go there and see a Hasidic Jewish person looking at porn any given day. All right, you know, when you lie to yourself about your own religion, you're in trouble. Maybe not in this lifetime, but when you die, you are. Now, I'm not going to go into everything because then I'd have to go into aliens and where they go and when they die, what happens, what they're doing, well, they're reincarnating into human bodies. They're not spiritual. We are the most spiritual race people, not the any race you want to say. Doctorians and whatever words you want to use. They're not spiritual. You know, if you're a spiritual person and you know right from wrong, you help people. If you don't help people, you're avoiding and evading who and what you are. I believe anything that comes into my reality is my problem that I have to deal with. If I see somebody getting robbed, somebody getting shot, somebody being this, that, or anything, I will get involved. Because it wouldn't be put in front of me if it wasn't for me to see or do or react to it. I mean, if a bomb's coming down, I can't jump in front of it and grab it. No. But you do what you can in any situation to be involved with what's being thrown at you. People, you know, people don't want responsibility. They'd rather just smoke, do drugs, and party and forget life. Because Mr. Trump and Biden are fighting constantly. That's all you hear. We don't know anything. Why don't they talk about what good things they could do for the world or the United States and really do it? We don't hear that at all, do we? Well, we put up a wall. Oh, well, let's just kill them all. Let's just send them back. Let's do this. Really? Do you see the lines coming in? One person goes, oh, there's no children there. Well, what video are you looking at? There's 50 million videos. Each one shows different parts of these lines. My brother's son, his second wife, worked on the line, the border patrol line, and they said they were taking bodies because people would say, "Give me money and I'll take you across the border," and they drop them off halfway in the desert and just leave them there. And these people would try to travel with nothing. And they're coming into the country with nothing, people. When you came into the United States, any race that you are, Spanish, German, Russian, British, English, when you came into the U.S., who let you in? Why? Who did they put on the boats to bring here? Who did Christopher Columbus have on his boats when he came to discover something? Now, the Vikings are so different. Nobody knows much truth about them. And I'm not going to get into it either. Not right now. The truth is out there, people. Are you ready to find it? Are you going to? Go to a UFO convention. Listen to the bull stories you're going to get. Mainly about the government's hiding this and hiding that. So what? They are still protecting the planet, whether you want to hear that or not. Well, they're protecting the rich people, but they're still protecting who they get paid to. If you had money, they'd protect you too. The underground cities were built for the rich people, not poor people. You don't have a house under there. I guarantee you, Oprah has one of the most incredible houses underground, and many of the other people do. Now, Jesse Ventura exposed that as well. He's one of the few people, they didn't kill him. I'm really surprised they didn't. But they did take a show down after they let him do 2.5 years, which was surprising. I mean, I waited every week for his show because he goes, I don't believe it. Let's find out the facts. And he did. He found the underground cities. He showed it. He showed the FEMA camps. And there are real FEMA camps with children in them. Do you understand what's going on around you and you have no clue? You live in this bubble. I got to work. Got to pay my bills. Got to eat. Got to go to sleep so I can get up and go to work the next day. That's all you know. Rich people aren't in that place. Well, let's go to a city. Let's buy a city. Let's do this. Let's do that. They can do whatever they want. Look at what Musk is doing. Look what Gates is doing. Bezos, what he's doing. Look what they're doing, people. What they think they have the right to do. Now, when a person becomes a president, vice president, what kind of ego do you think they have? Well, they went to school and they got good grades and they graduated high. That makes you a good person? Of course not. Politics is not for good people. Because nobody understands that they're controlling how many? At least 300 million people? You have the right? You think you know what they want? You think you know what the guy next door to you, how he lives, what he wants and needs? And you're going to protect him or help him in any way? I'm not going to get into the viruses. I'll lose my show. I'll lose everything. But all these other things that are out there, who do you think's creating it? Why do you think they're creating it? UN Agenda 21-30. You might not see the 21 all the time. That's when it started. But -30, meaning it'll end. Now, on that last thought, 193 countries agreed on that. Oh, we need one world order. Well, we need one God. We don't need one world order. If we had one God, the world would be so different. But everybody that creates a God creates it in their own image. Their own image, in their own mind, in their own thoughts, which is not beneficial for the human race or humans. People, I will accept questions, but if you want to send them to me, hawksblood1@AOL.com. Please, I answer all my messages sooner or later. But I'd rather have it in my email, hawksblood1@AOL.com or howtoseegod.com at AOL, sorry. I have a website that I've been working on. I haven't had time to get into it, but it's adventuresintothe.strange.com. I was putting pictures up and I had to take them down. My ex-partner sold out to the government, copyrighted all our pictures. We had more pictures of UFOs than anybody else in the United States up until 2002, and we showed them all the way up until about 2 years ago. when we had a fight and split up over a stupid thing that he came up with. But he sold out. He was the UFO person. Now he's claiming to be an angel. So that's where he went. So yeah, the government either drugged him out and programmed him. I mean, just kidding. But whatever happened to him, he sold out. People, the world's coming to a serious point where the change is going to happen and nobody even knows what's really going down or what the change is really going to be. But if you think about it, AI will be in power. And like Mr. Musk said, the little jobs, they're not going to need people to do them. Walmart already had robots stocking the shelves. Guess what? One job for people. But what are all these other jobs that they could have a robot do? I mean, a lot of the operations are done with robots. 90% of it's a robot, not a human doing it in these major operations and stuff. But are you ready? Are you willing to take a step forward and go into something different called the truth rather than follow the lies? Well, it's up to you. This is a new year, new beginning if you want it to be. Hope you choose to find a new beginning and start looking for the truth. You know, they're saying the truth will set you free. No, it won't. The truth's not going to be what you want to hear. It never is. In this body, it's not the same. But when you realize where you go, when you find the truth, it's much different and 1,000 times better. And that keeps growing in a higher number. All right, people. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. Don't take the wooden nickels. They're not going to help you. Look for the real gold as an idea. Look for the truth. What's going to save you as a being, as a soul, not as a body. Temporary fix is only a temporary fix. When it's your time to leave, choose wisely. I had 5 death experiences. The last time I came back, I said I want to finish one more book, so I finished 2. My last book right now is almost done. It should be out hopefully soon. But it's for women only, because I learned too much, way too much stuff in the past 10 years. Men are evil, all of them. Sorry to say that. Men have one thing on their mind. One that leads to 2. All right, people. Peace, love, compassion, whatever you need in your life. Hope you find it. If it's truth, keep looking, keep fighting. It's there if you want it. All right. Till next time.